All right, Pre-Cal 20S, good afternoon, grade 10s. Hopefully you guys are doing well today. So in today's lesson, we're going to be going over the learning that you did regarding the general form of a linear equation. So hopefully the notes that you did on that you got on Teams and the examples were clear. So we're going to start off with just reviewing the general form of a linear equation. So the general form of a linear equation is written like this. All the terms are on one side and 0 is on the other. So ax plus by plus c equals 0. So we call that the general form. Standard form would be simply just moving the c value, whatever it is, onto the right-hand side. So ax plus by equals c. That would be the standard form. In fact, what I typically do when I'm looking at intercepts is that I mental math that I get the c value on the right hand side. I have it in the standard form. So then the x-intercept is simply just c divided by a, and the y-intercept is c divided by b. It's important to note that the a value must be positive regardless. So a must be positive. You cannot have a negative x in the standard or in the general form. Okay, so we're just going to debrief just some examples here, some selected examples. Again, hopefully the notes were clear for you with the examples there, and also the textbook learning. I expect that you would have kind of went through the textbook and you have lots of practice questions there. So certainly after this video today is done, you can use the remainder of the time to go over any examples that I have not done, or certainly go through the textbook examples as per my website. Okay, let's make this a bit smaller. Okay, so first kind of thing that we have to be able to do is to put an equation into general form. And so if we're going to put it into the general form, it must be in the form ax plus by plus c equals 0. So essentially, we want all the terms on one side and then have it set equal to 0. So here in this case, what we are going to do, we've got y equals negative 3x plus 5. We're going to move the negative 3x. We're going to add 3x to both sides. And we're going to subtract 5. So what we should get underneath, something like this. 3x plus y, because the y is already there, minus 5 equals 0. And that would be the general form. Pretty straightforward. Okay, but that's a good first example. The second example here is, you'll notice that this is the slope-intercept form. So I'll write that above there. Slope-intercept. We recognize this as y equals mx plus b. So hopefully you recognize that y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope, rise over run, and b is the y-intercept. Okay, so what we need to do first is get rid of the fraction. So remove the fraction by timesing 3. So both sides have to be multiplied by 3. So we're going to have something like this. We're going to have 3 times y equals 3 times 2/3 x minus 4. And so, of course, when we multiply 3 by everything, the 3 is going to cancel out by the x, leaving us with 2, and then it's going to be 4 times 3. So what we're going to get is 3y will equal 2x minus 12. And moving everything over, we're going to subtract 2x because it's positive, and we're going to add 12 because it's negative. So we're going to end up with negative 2x plus 3y plus 12 equals 0. But we have an issue because we can't have the negative x. So we're going to multiply everything by negative 1. So we're going to take negative 1 times negative 2x plus 3y plus 12. That equals, I'm only write this out once. Obviously, we know that anything times 0 is 0. So negative 1 times 0. And that's going to leave us with our final answer. So basically, we're switching the signs for everything. So the negative becomes positive, so 2x minus 3y minus 12 equals 0. And that is our final answer for part B. And that is the general form. Hopefully you recognize the procedure from the notes. Alrighty. So in our next example here, you'll notice that we have two fractions. So we multiply by LCM 3 and 2 to remove the fraction. So 3 is an odd number, 2 is an even, and LCM is 3 times 2, which equals 2 times 2. 3 times 2, which equals 6. So what we're going to do first of all is we're going to multiply everything by 6. So 6 times y equals 6 times negative 3 over 2, negative 3 over 2x plus 1/3. Okay, so again, you're going to do your multiplying, and if you need to do on the side, that's fine. So just show that. So we're taking 6 times negative 3 over 2, which that's going to reduce down. We have to factor out the 2, so that the 6 becomes a 3 because we factor out the 2. So that's going to be 3 times negative 3 over 1. So that's negative 9. And another way to look at it is 6 times negative 3 is negative 18, and negative 18 divided by 2 is negative 9. And of course, 3 times 1/3 is 3 over 3, which is 1. Okay. So 6y equals negative 9x plus 1. And the last thing we do is we move everything to the left side. And it's convenient because it's a negative 9x, so it's going to be positive. So we add the 9x, so it becomes 9x plus 6y minus 1 equals 0. Again, we move everything by doing the opposite. So plus 9x minus 1. Okay, here you'll notice that this situation is y equals 1. This, as you remember, this is a horizontal line. Slope is 0. So the standard form then is no different. We set everything equal to 0. So we're going to subtract the 1. So it's going to be y minus 1 equals 0. And that is the standard form for a horizontal line. The x equals a number. That is a vertical line. Remember it has a slope that's undefined. So x equals any number is a vertical line. And again, to get the standard form, we just have everything on one side. So it's -2 on the right, so we're going to add 2 to the left. So x plus 2 equals 0 for standard form. Sorry, I didn't mean to say standard form, general form. So remember, the general form is always set equal to 0. Okay, so that's just some practice rearranging slope-intercept form when it's all whole numbers, slope-intercept form when there's one fraction, and slope-intercept form when there's two fractions. So dealing with that, we get to the the general form, and then looking at the general form of a horizontal and a vertical line. Okay, so one thing that you saw in the notes is that if we have the equation in a general form, it becomes quite convenient to graph the line because we can find the x and the y-intercept. So remember, the x-intercept is where the line touches the x-axis, and the y-intercept is where it touches the y-axis. So what I would do first, and I didn't allude to it too much in the notes, but I'll tell you that it's much more convenient to deal with the standard form. So if we have an equation in general form, having that constant value on the right makes it much easier to, just makes it a bit more simpler to find the intercepts. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to move that 6 to the right. So I'm going to go like this. It's going to be 3x minus y equals -6, because it's plus 6, so we're going to move the 6 by subtracting. So 3x minus y equals 6. So to get the x-intercept, we are simply going to take the c value, -6, and divide it by the a value, which is 3, and of course is going to be equal to -2. So the x-intercept is going to be a coordinate -2, 0. And the y-intercept is going to be the b value, which is it's minus y, so -1. Whoops, my mistake. We're going to take the c value, which is -6, and we're going to divide it by the b value in front of y, which is -1, because it's -y, -1. So -6 divided by -1 is +6. So the y-intercept is 0, 6. So now to graph this, it's very straightforward. We're just going to plot the two intercepts and then connect with a straight line and add arrowheads at the end. Okay, so we shall do so. Hopefully on your paper it's a bit clearer. I'm going to zoom in a bit here. Maybe go to 200%. Bit better. Yeah, sure. Okay. So every tick mark is a 1. So every tick is worth 1. So our first point is -2, 0. So -2, 0 is there, and 0, 6. So 5 and 6. So there's our 2 points. Okay. Now we simply connect them with a line. Make sure it extends to both, like extend it across the whole grid. Don't just stop at either point. Make sure you really extend it, okay? And then don't forget to add the arrowheads at the end because it is a line, okay? And that would be the line. for the equation 3x minus y plus 6 equals 0. Okay, so we'll do the same thing here. So first thing we'll do is put this into standard form. So it's going to be 2x plus 3y. And we're going to move the negative 6 over by adding it. So it's going to equal to positive 6. Eventually, if these are nice numbers, you can mental math it, but I'm going to show all the steps here. So the x-intercept, we're going to take the c value 6 and divide it by the a value, which is 2. And we're going to get 3. And so the x-intercept is going to be 3, 0. Y-intercept, you're going to take the c value 6 and divide it by the b, which was positive 3. And we're going to get our answer 2. And so the x and the y-intercept is 0, 2. And now all we have to do is plot the points. So 3, 0. So 1, 2, whoops, no, that's 2, 0. We want 3, 0. So 1, 2, 3, 0. And we want 0, 2, 1, 2. So you notice that the line's going down. It's a negative slope, which is perfectly fine. Take your ruler, connect them with the straight line. And then add arrowheads. And you're done. So we have used the general form, converting it into standard form for more ease of use, and finding the x-intercept, the y-intercept, plotting them both, and then connecting with a straight line. And that is how we graph the general form of an equation. Okay, so moving along. You guys can try part C on your own. Okay, so clearly you've got to move everything to one side. You might choose just to move the 4x over, keeping it in standard form, and then finding the x and the y-intercept. So you can do that for part C on your own after this video is done. Okay, so here, determine the intercepts of each line and graph the line and state the domain and range. So that's interesting that we'll do here. So I think what we'll do is we're gonna, for good of practice, we're gonna state it in set notation. I cannot use my mouse, I apologize. So we'll state it in set notation. Okay. So x equals 4. Well, if x equals 4, the x-intercept is going to be 4, 0. We are going to take the c value and divide it by 1, so it's 4, 0. And as you expect, this is a vertical line, so there'd be no y-intercept. So we will take our pencil and at the x-intercept of 4, 0, draw a vertical line. And then we'll add arrowheads. Top, bottom, done. Okay, so this is a vertical line. So our domain in set builder notation, of course, it will be only one value. The domain is x only is ever equal to 4. So it will be open the curly brace, x equals 4. Close the curly brace. And the range will be y such that y is an element of reals. Now, I don't know if I have that symbol on here. No. I do not. So I will have to closest to be the euro symbol. Okay. I'll leave a space. And I don't have the, I can't do the real, but you know it's a capital R. But you know that it's not that, it's a double R. But we will just, oops, close a curly brace. And very carefully, I will put in the is an element of real numbers. Okay, that is the vertical line. Part B, y equals 1. We know this is the horizontal line. So it won't have an x-intercept, so the y-intercept, of course, will be 0, -1, because we take -1 and divide it by the a value, which is 1 in front of y, so -1. And there is no x-intercepts, because it is a horizontal line. That should be blue. Okay, so we go ahead and take our pencil and plot a point at -1, 0, 0, -1. And then with the ruler, draw a horizontal line. And add the arrowheads. And we're done. Okay, so our domain in this case is element of real numbers. So x such that x is elements of real numbers. And the range is the curly brace is only one value. The range is y equals -1. Close the curly brace. And we will add in the is an element of symbol. There we go. Good. So that's the domain and range for a horizontal line. Y is one value, X is an element of reals because of the arrowheads. Okay, so now we have a different situation here where there's no X. So hopefully you realize when there's no X, this is going to be, of course, a horizontal line. It just means that we've got to isolate Y. So we will do so. So to do this, we have to, well, simply move the 6 over to the right and then divide by 3 in order to get the y-intercept. So the y-intercept technical difficulties. Okay, so the y-intercept is going to equal -6 divided by 3, which will give us y-intercept of 0 to -2. And of course, we know the horizontal line, no x-intercept. So we take our pencil and at -2, 0, -2, we plot our point, take out our ruler, horizontal line, add arrowheads at either end. Well, that's a bad arrowhead. There we go. And for the sake of making this go faster, I'm going to copy this. Paste it. We edit, undo that. That clearly didn't copy it. Okay. Now we'll copy it. Okay. So again, for the domain, curly brace x such that x is an element of reals because of the arrowheads at either end, and the range is open up the curly brace y equals -2. And now we just write in the is an element of, and we've got our domain and range in set notation for all three examples. So these three examples were, of course, one vertical and two horizontal lines, which that's fine. We could have stated the domain and range for the other examples, but we didn't. So notice that if there is only an x value, then it's a vertical line. And if there's only a y value, then it's horizontal. Even if it's written like this, there is no x value, x is 0. So the x-intercept is c divided by the b value, because in this case, a is 0. Okay, I'll leave you to do example D on your own, because that is just building off what we just did. So you can do that and find the x and the y-intercepts, graph it, and state the domain and range. Okay, so here we're now going to recognize a graph, and here we have a vertical line. So we have an x-intercept of 3. So our x-intercept is 3, 0. 3, 0 is the x-intercept. And there's no y value, it's a vertical line. Vertical line, so the by value, the y is 0. So it's not in the equation. So the standard form would be x equals 3. And x minus 3 equaling 0 would be the general form. I believe it asked for it in general form, but I just wanted to show you that we can start from the standard form and then go to the general form. So it's very straightforward to get the answer. So that is that in red. That is our answer. Okay. You can try B on your own. We'll put it into, it's a horizontal line, so put it into, start with standard form and then put it into general form. Okay, example 5 is some scenarios that we have and putting the equation into general form. So as you saw in the notes on Teams, we start with the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. We use it to solve for the m, the slope, or the b, the y-intercept, if we're given the point or 2 points. And then the final step is that we convert the standard form. We convert the slope-intercept form into general form. All right. So right away, off the bat here, we have the y-intercept is 4. So b equals 4. And the slope is -2/3. So m equals -2/3. So if we're going to put this into y-intercept, now I'm not going to write out all my steps. As you've seen in the notes on Teams that I listed, I explained each step. So hopefully you are quite, like, this isn't brand new, that you're a bit more confident. So we are going to fill in the slope-intercept form, and as you notice, we have a fraction. So we have to remove the fraction by multiplying by the 3, and then we're going to move everything over to the left side. Ax plus by plus c equals 0, and if the a value for x is negative, then the last step would be to multiply by -1. So we'll begin. So y equals mx plus b. That is a slope-intercept. So y equals -2/3 x plus 4. So our next step is to multiply everything by 3 in order to remove the fraction. So 3y equals 3 times -2/3 x plus 4. Multiply it out, we have 3y equals, so the 3 cancels, so it's -2/3 x, sorry, the 3 cancels, so it's -2x plus 3 times 4, which is 12. Here, just so we understand what's going on, the 3 cancels, and it's 4 times 3. So it's -2/3 times 3. That's not a 3. That looks like a weird thing. So that's what cancels, and then it's 3 times 4, which is 12. Okay. So our last step is to move everything to the right. So we're going to add 2x and minus 12. Like we're going to add 2x. We're going to subtract 12 to move everything onto the left side. So we're going to have 2x plus 3y minus 12 equals 0. And that is our standard form. That is our general form, our final answer. Okay. Move on to example B. There's a slope of 4/5. That's good. So m equals 4/5. We don't have a y-intercept. So that is our secondary xy value that will plug into y equals mx plus b. So we'll start with that. Y equals mx plus b. So we'll substitute in the m, the x, and the y. So 10, because that's, hold on, down a bit. There, so you see it. So that's the x and the y. 10, that's the y, equals 4/5 times 10, I'm sorry, 4/5 m times 5, which is the x, plus b. Okay, so again, 4/5 times 5. 5's cancel, and you're left with 4. So hopefully you're going to get much more confident with fractions by doing this. So 10 equals 4 plus b. Isolate b. B equals 10 minus 4, which is 6. Good. So now we have m, and now we have b, and we simply just put that back into y equals mx plus b. Okay. So y equals m, which is 4/5. So 4/5 x plus 6. So now, of course, we have to multiply everything by 5 to get rid of the fraction. 5 times y equals 5 times 4/5 x plus 6. Okay. And that gives us a 5y. Okay, on the left side. So 5y equals, now the 5 will cancel here, and then it's 5 times 6, which is 30. So if the 5 cancels, it's 4x. So that equals 4x plus 30. And we subtract both to move to the left side. So minus 4x plus 5y minus 30 equals 0. Times everything by -1 to get rid of the negative 4x. So -1 times negative 4x plus 5y minus 30 equals -1, 0. Showing that, we obviously it's 0 anyways, but just showing it. So now we flip the signs. So our final answer, our final general form answer is 4x minus 5y plus 30 equals 0. And that is the general form of the line that would pass through 510 and have a slope of 4/5. 4x minus 5y plus 30 equals 0. Hopefully that went okay for you guys. You can see how that works. And again, that's just following what we did on Teams. Okay, so again, the first step was, okay, we had the slope, but we didn't have the b value. So we had to use the slope intercept form to get the b value, or we could use it to get the slope if we didn't have it, as you saw in Teams notes. And then we start again with the slope intercept form, plug in the bm, plug in the b, and then go ahead and convert it. So that it all comes back down to using that y equals mx plus b. Okay, and I believe we're on to our last example. Okay. So a line passes through points 4, 6, and -2, 2. We don't have a b, and we don't have an m. So we have to decide which one is point 1 and point 2. So remember, P1 has the smallest x. Okay, so P1 and P2. Alrighty. So what we do is we can turn ourselves with the x. So we have a 4 and a -2. So -2 is less than 4. So this must be 0.2. I'm sorry, tired. This must be 0.1. So our P1 is -2, -2. And P2 is 4, 6. So here we really don't have a choice. We don't know m and we don't know b, so we do have to use the slope formula. So m, of course, will equal y2 minus y1 divided by x2 minus x1. Okay. So this will equal y2, which is 6. We'll subtract y1, which is -2. 6 minus -2. And we'll divide that by x2, which is 4, minus x1, which is -2. Okay. So this will equal 6 minus -2, which is 8, divided by 4 minus -2, which is 6. Of course, you want to make sure that we reduce the fraction. So 8 over 6, we'll divide both by 2, so that's going to be 4 over 3. So 4 over 3. Bottom line is m is 4 over 3. Good. So now we're going to go ahead and use the slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, and we're going to pick one of the pick one of the points. So I will substitute. I don't want to deal with negatives, so I'll use p2. It's fine. So put p2 into there, x and y. So it would look like this. So p2x and y is 6, so 6 equals m, which is 4/3. So 4 over 3 times x, which is 4, plus b. So we have 6 equals 4/3 times 4 plus b. So we multiply the fraction. So 6 equals 4/3 times 4. That's 4 over 3 times 4 over 1. 4 times 4, that's 16 over 3 plus b. So we want to get rid of the fraction. So we're going to times everything by 3. That's just a good mental math tip to do. So 3 times 6 equals 3 times 16 over 3 plus b. That gives us 18 equals, so the 3's cancel, so that's 16 plus 3b. Okay, so 18 equals 16 plus 3b. So we're going to subtract the 16. So 2 equals 3b. Again, we subtract the 16, and we're going to then take the 2 and divide it by 3. So we get a fraction. So b equals 2 over 3, which is fine, not the end of the world. Good. So we have our b value, which is 2/3, and we have our m, which is 4/3. So I'll do this over here, so I'm not going down too far. Let's do it in a different color. Okay, so y equals mx b. Substitute our m and x. So y equals m, which is 4/3, x plus b, which is 2/3. So we have 2 fractions, but you'll notice the denominator is 3. So multiply by 3 to remove fractions. You don't have to find an LCM because it's the same denominator, so that's actually kind of nice. So 3 times y equals 3 times 4/3 x plus 2/3. So 3y equals, when you have the same denominator and you're multiplying by the same top number, they cancel. So it's 4x plus 2. And we subtract everything because it's plus 4x plus 2. So minus 4x minus 2. So minus 4x plus 3y minus 2 equals 0. We're really getting our money's worth on this example because, of course, now the a value is negative. So our last step is to multiply everything by -1 to remove the negative. So -1 times -4x plus 3y minus 2 equals, again, I'm still showing it, but you don't have to. -1 times 0, I don't expect you to write that, but just showing you that what you do to one side, you do to the other on an equation. And again, the -1 timesing it just switches the signs. And again, our x now will be positive. So 4x minus 3y plus 2 equals 0. And ladies and gentlemen, that is our final answer, the general form of a line that passes through points 4, 6 and -2, 2. This would be probably the busiest question, as you saw. Number 1, you have to calculate the slope. Number 1, you have to figure out which one is 0.1 and 0.2. Again, the negative smallest x. Plug it into the slope formula. It's a fraction, 4/3. Use the slope-intercept form. Substitute in an xy to solve for b. B was a fraction. Okay. Then you take the b value and the m and again plug it into the slope-intercept form, slope-intercept, and go ahead and convert to general form. Here we had 2 fractions. They both had the same denominator of 3, so we times everything by 3 to remove the fractions. And then we moved everything to the left, and then we got rid of the -4x by multiplying by -1, and that's our general form. So this concludes the lesson, the debrief. So I went through all the examples for the last part because each of them was specific, so make sure you understand them, copy them down, practice them. You've got practice questions to work on in your text, and you've got practice questions, some of the remaining examples, again, from here, from the debrief, and I believe it's been a long day, sorry, tomorrow. So yeah, you're getting, tomorrow, the sub is going to be handing you out a little mini project. Okay, so you'll be working on that tomorrow. So I'm not giving you your typical practice worksheet where the first page is notes and then the others are questions with answers. You have lots of questions from the textbook. You have the question, the exact part, the question practices from the team's notes, and you have this activity, which is due by next Wednesday. It's due next Wednesday because that's when I'll be back in the classroom from remote teaching. So I will collect the paper copy of that you'll get tomorrow. So I wish you guys all the best of luck with the learning. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to chat through Teams or send me an email. Okay, we'll talk to you guys later. Take care.